We are now about to call this meeting to order. We'll go ahead and start with roll call. Ms. Pulley, if you will.
Ms. Bradshaw? Here. Mr. Marsh? Mr. Wooster?
Here.
And Mr. Ford?
Here. Thank you. And now for the approval of agenda or amendments for closed session. If I can get a motion.
I move to approve the agenda for closed session as presented.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes. And now for the moment of silence and pledge of allegiance.
Would everyone please stand for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful day. It's registering about 90 degrees outside, but you know, we're a little bit cooler in here, so I'm grateful for that. Today we will get into some of the minutes that we have talked about before, and I think we can go ahead and go into the special presentation.
And the special presentation will be by WHRO, and it will be by Mr. Did it wrong? Oh,
We should go into closed session at this moment.
yeah.
It's not up here today. All right, I guess we're in closed session now. Wait. Can we get a motion to go into closed session? Oh, I'm missing a page, that's why, but it's okay.
I'll make a motion to go in closed session.
No, I have a second to that motion. Yeah, well, 4.1. Yeah, that's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get that. I have a second to go into closed session.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think the numbers are off.
Yeah, the numbers are off. Before we motion to go into closed session, can we get a motion on, well, yes, the motion for closed session is 5.1.
So
We missing 4.1, okay. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Could we have a motion to go into closed session again? It'll be right here. Or either one of you guys.
I move to go into closed session to review the personnel report and addendum posted on board docs under Personnel tab number 16.1 as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1 for purposes of discussion and consideration of prospective candidates of Wight Public Schools for employment, contract changes, transfers, salary adjustments, supplemental contracts, deletions, supplemental pay, resignations of Wight County Public Schools employees, and move to go into closed session to discuss or consider religious exemption for one student as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-3711A2 that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning a student.
Could I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Ms. Bradshaw?
Yes.
And Mr. Ford?
Yes. We need to approve the agenda and or amendments for closed session as well. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda and amendments for closed session?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for closed session as presented.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. And we will have an approval of amendments or agenda for open session. Can I have a motion for the approval of the agenda and amendments for open session? Yeah, it's okay. I'm just going back. Yeah, I'm just going. We want to do this after we come from close? Okay. Well, with that said, we'll do that after we come from our closed session, and we are now in closed session. All right, and now for us to reconvene back into open session, we will start with the certification of resolution of compliance.
I move that the closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act as required by Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia, and certify that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements were discussed, and only such public business matters as was identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
We have a second on that motion.
I second that motion.
Is there any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Okay, Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. And now for the moment of silence and pledge of allegiance.
Would everyone please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Again, welcome back to our August 13th regular school board meeting. And now we can go ahead and start with the special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a special presentation today by WHRO. We have Mr. President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Elmore Seward, Vice President of Educational Services at WHRO, and then present to the board and entertain questions that you may have. Good evening.
Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Coleman. My name is Bert Schmidt. I'm the president of WHRO, and Elmer Seward is with me, my vice president of education, so if you have any hard questions, I got my backup back here. I come to you because you're one of the 21 school divisions that literally own the broadcast license of WHRO. We are the only company in the entire country owned by collaboration of 21 school divisions, I-sle Wight being one of them. Each year we provide you with a report. You've got it here, the hard copy. This is for last school year that summarizes the services we provide you. But rather than just listening to me drone on and on, we've prepared a video for you that I'd like to have played now.
WHRO stands out as the nation's sole public media station owned by a collaboration of 21 school divisions. This distinctive ownership model places education at the heart of our mission, influencing every aspect of our work. Our team of educators is committed to offering students, teachers, and families innovative, free, high-quality programs and services. One key service that WHRO offers is eMedia VA, Virginia's leading digital content repository. With nearly 100,000 free, top-quality instructional resources, eMedia VA provides educators and students with videos, interactive tools, games, lesson plans, images, and more. This platform is designed to enhance personalized learning and make classroom experiences more engaging. For our youngest learners, WHRO offers exciting educational activities to spark their imagination. Our 3 education vans visit elementary schools with programs tailored to Virginia's standards of learning, covering literacy, numeracy, scientific investigation, and technology. We also support parents and caregivers, ensuring children are prepared for kindergarten and set up for success in their early school years. For secondary educators, WHRO provides a catalog of 30 award-winning, customizable online courses and digital resources. These media-rich SOL-aligned courses are designed to integrate seamlessly with various learning management systems. They offer flexibility for face-to-face, flipped, blended, and fully online teaching environments, enriching lessons with engaging content. At WHRO, we celebrate student achievements through competitions that showcase their talents. The Great Computer Challenge, for example, gathers school teams from across the region at Old Dominion University to tackle real-world technology problems. Another highlight is the Town Bank Regional Spelling Bee, where middle school champions compete at WHRO's studio for a chance to advance to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. The local competition is recorded and aired on WHRO each April. Elementary students also have an opportunity to shine through our PBS Kids Writers Contest. This competition invites young writers to craft and illustrate their original stories, fostering creativity and critical thinking. Our Student Advisory Board reflects our commitment to student engagement. This group of high school students offers feedback on WHRO's content and has opportunities to create their own, influencing our online courses and eMedia VA resources. We're equally devoted to supporting educators through our professional development programs. Our workshops and training sessions provide teachers with cutting-edge strategies and tools, empowering them to inspire and guide their students effectively. Visit WHRO's education webpage to learn more about how these amazing free materials, programs, and resources can benefit you. At WHRO Public Media, we're proud to partner with our local school divisions and the Virginia Department of Education to shape the future of education one student at a time.
As board members, of course, we care about the finances. In the impact statement we provide you on page 13 is a summary of the finances. You provide WHRO a little bit more than $3 per student. That translated last year to about $19,000. And in return, you received direct savings and value of $1,500,000. That's a 78-to-1 return on your investment. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
I read through the information provided about how many teachers in Isle and Wight County actually use WHRO.
Some of that you would have to get the information from Wight itself.
Yeah, so for example, the online courses, we have 30 online courses we've developed. We give them to you. Your folks have all the data for that because we're simply the manufacturer. So you guys use them however you want. eMedia VA, we could pull up the eMedia VA report.
For eMedia VA, I can tell you that most of the usage in eMedia VA is teacher usage. And last year you had over 4,500 instances of eMedia VA resources being used.
Okay. I guess what I'm getting at, I'm wondering how many teachers actually know what's out there and available to them. How many of them are not using WHRO because they don't even know that that is an option?
That's what we encourage. We meet with the superintendents regularly and school board representatives, and we're always encouraging them to, hey, tell the end users, which are typically teachers, about these services and whether it's, now there's pretty good, the report you have is customized to the district itself, but like Great Computer Challenge, really impressive turnout, spelling bee. So some of that is anecdotal, But we're always asking for folks, and we try to give them, superintendents, one sheets, whatever we can to get the word out. And my team is more than happy to come out anytime and meet with groups of teachers. Sometimes a building will have like teacher meetings at the end of the day or something. Our team is happy to come out, whether it's elementary, middle, high school, and to really explain all the services available to them.
And perhaps it's something we should do it in convocation or in services along that line, just to educate that what's available.
And Ms. Bradshaw, that's something that we can look into to find out from the instructional department, just gather the information about how much information is actually being distributed throughout the year, and in what avenues is that information being distributed. And we can get back to you on that.
In addition to that, obviously not tonight, but maybe at the next board meeting, I'd like to see some statistics on that as well. Different programs that are being utilized, percentages, things like that.
Yeah, we can get that as much as we can't do the course part, but the other stuff. And again, there's a lot of data in that report, very specific to Isle of Wight. So some of it's there, but we can get even more. And Dr. Coleman and I are getting together in a few weeks, so I'll try to have the information for when we get together.
Does most of your marketing come through Isle of Wight County Schools, or do you guys do marketing straight direct to parents?
We don't ever reach out directly to teachers. I mean,
Okay.
that's your job, but we provide marketing resources. We also provide a lot of opportunities for the school to show off best practices. For example, we have on our air, both TV and radio, things called Education Now spots, where my team will come out and you get to tell your best practice, if you will, of something that's going on in the division. That we'll put it on both our TV and radio stations. We have a radio show called Education Matters. Happy to get Dr. Coleman on there. We got John Gordon's going to be on in a couple of weeks, but it's another chance for an hour on the radio to brag about what's going on in the division. So there are plenty of opportunities. And my marketing team will work with your marketing team to help promote what you're doing. Yeah.
And I ask that because I understand that, there is the inherent partnership with us in our school district, but I did not know if you guys had any services that, I see some of the camps, if any of that was direct to parents, direct to families, instead of coming straight through Isle of Wight County Schools.
Usually the camps are done in conjunction with either a community group or with
Okay.
a school division.
Gotcha.
So any promotion that's done for that would be done through the organization that has invited us to come and do the camp.
Yeah, there could be an early childhood center in Isle of Wight that we might work with as well. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something that I think we should probably look towards kind of bringing to the forefront. What other organizations in Isle of Wight, that we can partner with?
Yeah.
I granted, we do great work here in the school system, but I think that there's a support system outside of Isle of Wight County that would be advantageous to, include students from Isle of Wight County, but, just another helping hand in the pot.
that'd be awesome. As I say, you're paying $3 per student regardless. You might as well use as much as possible.
Right, absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So, if we can,
Well, I'll be sure to come in hand with the report for you in a couple of weeks when we get together.
yes, sir. And is it you that are retiring? You're retiring?
It is, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My last report to this board.
Oh, this is your last one?
Well, I've got about 6 months, but I come
Okay.
every other year. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank you, yeah,
Thank you for that information.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is that it?
Yep, we're good
Okay.
to go.
Thanks,
Thank you for
everybody.
your time.
Thanks.
All right, and is there anyone that is signed up to speak for this session?
We do not have anyone signed up to speak.
Okay. All right, and now for presentation from the superintendent staff.
All right, at this time, we have the Fleet Service Construction Award. And if Mr. Sullivan can come up. While Mr. Sullivan is coming up, one thing I want to point out is the Fleet Service building, we are currently of course, working out of the annex right at across from the courthouse. This is a project that we've been working on with the Fleet Service Building for about approximately 18 months at this time. Mr. Sullivan has been working hand in hand with the architects and also the engineers to ensure that this building meets the needs for all of the Wight Transportation Department. So with that said, Mr. Sullivan, can you tell us a little bit about the project and, of course, the bid tabulation?
So as of right now, can you hear me? How's that? So as of right now, as most of you know, we are working on a building that's 1 full-size stall and then 4 3/4-size stall. Can't fit a bus into 4 of those stalls. And now we're finally getting 5 full-size stalls, so that's a big deal for us. We definitely, we cut a lot out to try to get to that point, and I think we did really well as far as the bids that came in. And if we can, do you have the tabulations already up, sir?
I do have the tabulation right here, if you need it. Just hand this to him. And once again, the building that Mr. Sullivan and his crew are working out of is well over 30 years old. How old is the building, the current fleet services?
So we believe it was built in 1952. There actually are not any prints anywhere for it, and Wight County doesn't really have any information on it. So the estimation is between 52 and 55. So it's a Cold War era building.
Exactly. So the building that he's looking at right now will be a building for the next 30 to 40 years. So this is very substantial for the community. Go right ahead.
And another great point about that building is we actually are designing it so that it can be added on. And that was a problem with the original structure. It was very difficult to add on and expand. And we've had a lot of forethought in the design of this structure so that when we do get big enough and we need to continue to push back and create a larger building, we'll be able to do so. And I'm going to go ahead and start the bids. I'm going to do the, go ahead, sir.
Go right ahead. What I just wanted to do, I just wanted to make sure that the recommended action, I think that's all that the board needs at this time. We're going to pull up the bid tabulation. Do we have that there? That is fine. So overall, the recommended action is to approve the award of IFB number 27-01, the new fleet services facility, to TDSC, Tidewater Development Services Corporation, in the amount of $2,514,000, and authorize the superintendent to execute all necessary contract documents and take all actions necessary to implement the project in accordance with school board policies and applicable procurement requirements. Mr. Sullivan in front of him held all of the bid tabulations, but the lowest bidder that the team went with was TDSC. So if there's any questions, Mr. Sullivan is here to answer that.
Could you just elaborate a little bit about the design phase of the building, what we're talking about, what we're looking at, what kind of bays, number of bays, stuff like that?
So it's going to be 5 full-size stalls. In the back of that building, we actually have an area that we've designed for all the utility assets of the structure. We're going to have our oil stored internally. We're going to have our tires stored internally. Tires are one of the things that gets stolen most for fleets. And we'll finally have a really good control element to keep those safe. We also have waste oil management systems back there that'll help us store our waste oil. A lot of things that help keep us EPA compliant and OSHA compliant. The front of the building, it's a little bit bare bones because we've made some very, very good decisions to try to utilize our funds appropriately. It has a substantial mezzanine on top for part storage, which is a big issue right now. We don't have enough room to keep the parts we have. So that's going to be very beneficial. There's only one main office in the structure, but it'll be shared by a couple different employees. I think it's a very financially sound design, and I think we've done a pretty good job of building it so far. Do you have any questions specifically about the design?
No, that was pretty much it. I was just kind of looking at how it would differ from the current existing building, because I know some of the bays you can't even fit the buses in. And we've had many conversations about this over the past few years anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much what I was getting at, just to make sure that it's going to be, looking at the price tag, I was making sure it's going to be something that you're going to be able to utilize, not just now, but in the future as well.
Absolutely. And we're already thinking of other ways to kind of maximize that space. We've talked about maybe possibly expanding the apron on one side of the building. We have lifts that are going to be completely wireless. So we would be able to pull our lifts outside, and I mean, that would basically give us 4 more stalls outside if the weather's good. Another thing we're considering is actually having 2 of the lifts for the automotive or for the light duty vehicles all in that first stall. So you get 2 stalls for the price of 1. And we're looking into some other measures that would also be beneficial to help maximize that space.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I needed at this point.
Are there any challenges that you foresee coming up that we can help mitigate at this point?
I think we're in a pretty good spot financially. For being able to construct that building for that price, I think it takes a lot of heat off us. I believe we're going to do really well with our equipment schedule for the things going in that building. I believe there could be an opportunity for us to maybe add a few things back to that structure that we took off to try to mitigate or decrease the price. There's a lot of things that we removed to try to make it a little bit more affordable, and we might be able to go back and look at a few of those things.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder to the public, I know this came in under budget. I can't remember the exact amount that it came in under budget. Do we have that?
Right. I'm going to go with the overall cost we proposed out for the building was $4 million to start off with. Of course, we're taking in consideration the architectural engineering costs, and of course, the project is not over yet. You never know what you might run into, different things of that nature, but the project will not go over budget. It will not go over budget, I repeat.
Yeah, I recall us talking about this in
Yes,
the
sir.
last couple of meetings, so. Okay, no
And
questions.
just to reiterate something, so that price that TDSC has provided, that doesn't include the equipment schedule, the things that I'm going to have to buy to fill that shop to make sure that it works right.
Correct.
Okay. Without any other comments on this, any discussion, could I have a motion for the recommended action?
I move that the Isle of Wight County School Board approve the award of IFB number 27-01, New Fleet Services Facility, to TDSC, Tidewater Development Services Corporation, in the amount of $2,514,000, and authorize the superintendent to execute all necessary contract documents and take all actions necessary to implement the project in accordance with school board policies and applicable procurement requirements.
Can I have a second to that motion?
I second that motion.
Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, and now for the contract services RFP.
At this time, we ask that Mr. Brinkley come forward.
Good evening, board members. Present to you tonight, just want to kind of touch base and let you know, we did issue an RFP for contract security services, and after issuing that RFP, we received 17 submissions. Those submissions were reviewed and narrowed down to 3, one of which was the incumbent that we had used previously for the second half of last school year. And on July 29th of this year, we conducted panel interviews with the finalists. After the interviews, the panel unanimously voted to award the contract to the incumbent Top Guard Incorporated.
We have any questions or any discussion on that?
Are we looking at any changes in service or methodology of doing things, anything like that, or is it remaining the same?
No, sir, the scope of services is going to remain the same. The only other thing that we did discuss was the possibility of using them at some after-hours events. So we did obtain an overtime rate as well in the event we would need them for other events.
That's all I've got.
I think we discussed the funding for all of this already earlier this year, so we don't have to rehash any of that information. Without any further ado, could I have a motion on the action for this item?
I move that the Isle of Wight County School Board approve Top Guard Incorporated as the awarded vendor for RFP number 26-05, Contract Security Services for the provision of uniformed security personnel and related safety services in accordance with the terms of the solicitation, school board policies, and all applicable state and federal requirements.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I second that motion.
If there's no other discussion, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Brinkley.
Thank you.
All right, and now for the ESS contract addendum.
And there will be Ms. Sullivan coming to speak on the ASS contract addendum.
Good evening. You should see on the screen and then also in your packet, I believe, the addendum to the contract. So we have an ongoing contract with ESS that funds or that we contract with to provide substitutes for our school division. And as you all approved through the budget was to give an additional $375,000 towards supporting an increase in the pay to our substitutes. We are making the decision to roll that out, or this is what this plan is to roll that out in a phased approach to make sure that we are being financially conscious about some of the information that we've received recently concerning possible increases to our electric bills this year. And so instead of doing all $375,000 right now to increase pay rates, we are asking to increase the pay rates of our building-based substitutes, which are the substitutes who commit to coming to us every single day. And so there is at least one assigned to every school building in the district where we know that person's going to show up, and our principals use that person for last-minute call-outs. And so they make sure that then those are also staffed. So we're requesting to increase that rate, and we're also asking to increase the rate of degreed bachelor's and master's degree holding substitutes. We really want to target having those individuals in the classrooms with our students, and so we're going to increase their rates. And then you'll also see on there, the rest of the rates we would leave the same until we're able to bring back a better idea in October or November where we stand with our electric bill, and also what other savings we could potentially find through salaries as well in terms of like attrition or unfilled vacancies, to make sure that we have enough funds to cover that. But you'll see that there's a different line item for every pay rate that says discretionary. That will allow us to increase pay on Fridays for substitutes at our own discretion. So this means that on Fridays, if we have a significantly hard to fill, and also on our new teacher cohort days, which are the days where we pull about 30 teachers out of the classroom all at the same time for a very important professional development opportunity for those first-year teachers. But it would allow us to increase the pay rate for those individuals on those days, and the company's able to do that through our agreement based on whatever the needs are. So our request is that you approve this addendum as presented, and then we'll come back to you in a few months potentially with being able to increase other rates as well.
I guess my question is, what would be the baseline for, actually making this increase in October, November? So say, for instance, if our electricity bill or any other expenses that, are relevant to this funding, raises, 5%, right? Where's it to say, yes, let's go ahead and not move forward? You guys have that kind of set already?
So I would rely on our CFO to kind of advise us on that. She would be looking at the increase as well as where we fall with, because as you all know, right now we haven't entered our first pay date for all of our new hires that are coming in on the on 10-month contracts. And so after that first pay round in September, we'll be able to truly see how things shake out in terms of what budgeted salaries we had based on who we were planning to contract in March of last year versus who we have now. So we have some people, who left with 30 years of service. We didn't know then where those people were going to come in at. So whether the person that replaced them might only have 5 years. And so there's always a savings there potentially as well. But going through that first pay pay date will allow our CFO, and as well as other potential, things as well.
Absolutely. And, Mr. Chair, I don't want you to think that all of the, I guess you can say, the increase in utilities fall directly on the EES contract and relates directly to that. That's an overall increase, and Mr. Very and Ms. Sullivan has worked together to look through that, but Mr. Very is also working around the clock in all different areas to pull those flies, to pull that funding back, just to make sure that we are going to meet that goal. So it's not a direct application to EES services. It's just one of the first things that we have looked at this time to make sure that we're going to be fine by the end of the year.
We just knew that this was a potential area where we had some flexibility.
Right.
I don't have any other questions on this.
I've just got one. And you may or may not be able to answer this, but overall, how much are we currently relying on substitute teachers?
Like on a daily basis, how many
Correct.
subs are we bringing in?
Doesn't have to be exact, just an estimate is fine.
I mean, on any given day, I would say between 30 and 70 in the division.
Okay, so it's still significant then?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Yep.
All right, if there's no further discussion on this, we don't have to vote on this one, so, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Could we have a motion?
I move to approve the ESS contract addendum as presented.
Do we have a second?
A second.
If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. All right, and now for the report from the superintendent staff.
First one is 14.1, vacancy update. Once again, there will be Ms. Sullivan. She'll be presenting the vacancy report.
Okay. So I am super excited to share this information with you all tonight. And we were making offers until like 4:45. But I can share with you that we are down to needing 4 teachers in the school division. We need 1 interventionist and 3 special education inclusion teachers. So all of our classroom positions have been filled. And those 3 sped positions are 3 of the 10 that you all approved in July. And so I know when we left that meeting, we were really concerned about being able to fill any of them, and so we've been able to fill 7 of them. And then as far as our support staff, we're down to 5 support staff building vacancies. We have 4 special education IAs and then 1 welding IA that we need to fill for the entire division.
And Mr. Chair, yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly, I wanted to make sure that we gave the HR department a huge shout out. I've been here for going on 9 years and I've never seen it down to 4 teachers and 5 staff. That is unbelievable. That is truly unbelievable. And it goes directly showing that the hard work that the HR department is doing and a support that the school board and the board of supervisors gave us as it relates directly to those increased salaries.
Yes, sir. And I applaud the community of Isle of Wight County for supporting us in those efforts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll be coming back in September. We have some preliminary findings concerning where we are falling comparatively with other districts, but as you all know, school boards even just last month were adjusting their pay scales because of the state updated budget. So next month I'll be able to share with you where we fall overall so that you can see the return on investment on all of the work that we did related to the budget and the salaries. But yeah, we're really happy about where we're going into the school year, and we still have 2 weeks left before to fill these last few positions, and we're hopeful that we can get down to 0.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've just got one question for you real quick, since Dr. Coleman here stole mine. What I was going to ask you, when is the last time you have seen it at that level?
Well, I've only been in this role that's going in my 5th year, going into my 5th year, and this is the first time we've been this low.
That's pretty much what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've ever not had vacancies at Smithfield High School and Westside, starting out the year with classroom teachers. And not only is that great for the students in that individual teacher's class, but it's also wonderful for all of the other staff members who have to carry the weight of that vacancy every day in the building. And so not only is it helpful for the students in those classrooms, but it's going to mean that your burnout, like all of those pieces of that they have to deal with, is going to be a lot less. So.
Thanks.
All right, now for our school messenger update, 14.2.
All right, and Ms. Briggs will be presenting this messenger update. And before Ms. Briggs gets started, I'd like Ms. Briggs to answer the question. Do you remember the last time that the vacancy report was this low?
No, sir. Does that suffice?
That will suffice.
Good. School messenger. I just wanted to make our board members and community members, parents and employees aware that over the summer we have been transitioning some of our communication tools. For many years we have used a product called Connect 5, and that has been our mass messaging system, which is what we use to send out emails, phone calls, text messages to employees and parents to notify them of important events, emergency situations, the like, to keep them updated. In addition, our schools have used a communication tool called Remind. Remind has been a two-way communication tool that our teachers and principals mainly use to inform parents directly about specific things. It does allow parents to communicate back through controlled channels. In addition, we've been using PowerSchool and Connect 5 to do attendance alerts. So we had a lot of platforms going on. So this past spring, we looked at all those channels and we realized it would be much more efficient if we could reduce some of those platforms, because I know people always feel like they're opening up different apps or different websites to figure out what is going on, and we realize that. So we switched from Connect 5 and Remind to School Messenger. School Messenger is affiliated with PowerSchool. It is actually a feature that is within PowerSchool, and once again, that's our student information system. And by going with this one platform, School Messenger / PowerSchool, it's going to allow easier use and communication, we believe, for our families and for our employees. It's going to replace Remind. It's going to replace the separate Connect 5. There's actually a feature in there called My Power Hub, and it's almost like a dashboard that parents will be able to use. When they log in, they will see their child's attendance, their child's grades, any messages from their child's teachers or child's school, and it's kind of a one-stop shop for them to reduce a little bit of the app exhaustion that we tend to see. So we are rolling out training right now with staff. We have sent some information to parents through School Messenger, just like Connect 5, just some informational emails. You really won't see much change on your end, but you might see emails now saying @schoolmessengermail.com. And so we just wanted to make people aware that that's the direction we're moving. And I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. Yes, ma'am.
Will this allow teachers to reach out to their students? Like I used Remind all the time to send messages to kids like you're missing this assignment. They'll still have that available?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Is there any information for parents in this updated integration, or is it?
We will be getting information to them. Right now, PowerSchool is not turned on at the moment because schedules are still changing. So we do that intentionally. We don't want families going in and seeing one thing now and 2 days later it's changed. So once we get everything finalized, we'll have information for them, especially at the open houses, what they can do, how they can get into My Power Hub. But the nice thing is they just go right through PowerSchool, like they used to do the PowerSchool Parent Portal. They'll go in through My Power Hub, and now they'll have a much more comprehensive view of what's happening with their child and communication from their teacher in their child's school.
Thank
Okay?
you.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, and now for the 14.3 summer internships.
And this will be Mr. Sullivan. And he's going to talk through the Technician Summer Intern Program. This is a new program for the summer. Go right ahead, Mr. Sullivan.
So, starting at the beginning of summer, we had 2 rising seniors come down and join us at Fleet Services. It had been a while since I've worked with 17-year-olds. It's been a lot of fun. It's a good time. It definitely, it's done a lot of great stuff. The great takeaways is it's a great experience for these young guys. I mean, they're learning a lot of stuff they wouldn't get anywhere else. They're learning how to become employees. They're learning how to communicate with adults in a way that's not just a teacher or a parent. It's definitely brought us back to the basics on a lot of things we do and why we do them a certain way. There's things that we do every day we take for granted, but when you have to explain it to somebody who's never seen it before, you know, it really drives it home, and I think it's really good for the guys to see that. It's also created great leadership opportunity for the guys that I already have in the shop. I've got some guys in their 20s, they've never been in charge of somebody, and it's really great to watch them grow and learn how to talk to people and get them to do something and make them feel like they want to do it. It's really great. Once the summer is complete, I'd like to come back and maybe do a debrief on the whole program, and possibly if these young men do good, maybe we can do some recognition and tell them thank you. But we'll see how it goes first before we do any of that, obviously. But it's been a great program. They've had a lot of fun. I think they've grown a lot over the summer because of it. But it's been very enjoyable. Do you all have any questions about it?
I have a few questions. How many hours a week did they work?
They work 28 hours a week,
Okay.
27 to 28.
Okay, and was any of the learning, so I know how internships go in high school, right? I think it's a little bit more guided. So anything that they learned during the internship, is there any documentation that ties it back to actually academic learning or how that relates to, you know, the academic progress?
That's correct. We are tying it back to academic learning. I would direct those questions to Mrs. Street. But yes, we are using that for their academic potential in the future.
Awesome. And in terms of replication, are we thinking about how, well, and I know that you can't probably answer this question, but I think it would just good for the cause to replicate this kind of internship throughout the district, you know, and even maybe some of the admin offices in Isle of Wight overall. But just for the good of the cause, but no other questions. Great job. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, kudos to you. Excellent.
Any potential recruits?
Possibly. Okay. We still got a couple weeks left. Let's wait it out a little bit and we'll see. But I do have some great stories if you want to hear them later. I'm not going to say them up here.
I'll stop by.
Yeah, we want to hear those stories.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
If there's nothing else,
Thank
good
you,
evening.
Thank you. All right, and now for the 14.4 summer school update.
Good evening, School Board Chair, members, Dr. Coleman, and the IWCS community. My name is Haley Cooprider, and I'm the proud Elementary Coordinator of Literacy, History, and Summer School in Isle of Wight County. My elementary partner, Stacy Rogers, couldn't be here tonight, but I could not do this work without her, so I definitely wanted to give her a shout out. We're a fabulous team. And then, okay, cool. The Summer Scholars Academy is Isle of Wight County's free summer initiative dedicated to student success across grades K through 8. Grounded in the IWCS regulation JECCR, the program provides essential reading and math interventions for students needing academic recovery, structured transition support for rising kindergartners with no preschool experience, which was new this year and pretty fabulous, and dynamic enrichment opportunities for our gifted scholars. The Summer Scholars Academy achieved remarkable growth and engagement this season, moving from 96 students in 2023 to 213 this year. Our enrollment more than doubled while maintaining a strong commitment to academic excellence in science, literacy, and math. Through hands-on field trips and enhanced instructional resources, students thrived both inside and outside of the classroom. Our impact also extended to the entire family community, culminating in a 48%
48% attendance rate at our expo, and huge praise from United Way as a top-notch family engagement initiative. The Summer Scholars Academy delivered clear, measurable academic benefits that position our students for success in the upcoming school year. Through targeted skill building preschool through fifth grade, scholars made significant strides in reading, achieving point gains between 3.7 and 15 points, as you can see in the graph. We also had great steady progress in math, with growth ranging from 2 points to about 7.69 points. For 16 days of instruction, that's pretty strong to see that growth. By closing critical skill gaps and boosting learning momentum, our summer programming ensures students enter the fall prepared and more confident. Future growth. Having established a strong, proven base, the Summer Scholars Academy is poised to refine and evaluate its programming for the future. Moving forward, we have a few priorities. They focus on expanding student outreach. We want even more kids. We want especially more kids with our rising kindergartners. For those kids that have never had preschool experience, was a great opportunity. We want to grow our gifted enrichment program. We have had 3 years of very successful programming for them, but we want to expand it and provide even more differentiation for them. And then we remain committed to our top-notch family engagement initiatives, with also sharpening our instructional delivery for students so that we can gain even more pre to post tests. And then none of these extraordinary milestones, student learning gains, and family engagement successes would be possible without our amazing partner, the United Way, of Southampton Roads. They have an early literacy grant that we have won for the past several years, and it provides us so many opportunities for our students. Their generous support and investment in early education provides the resources, the field trips, the high quality instruction, the materials, and it makes it all free and accessible for our students. And so if families, for example, attended both the open house and the expo at the end, they were put into a drawing for the end of the year, or for coming as a reward, and we were able to provide 4 water country tickets to a family with all-day events and food. So we are profoundly grateful for their dedication to building brighter academic futures in our community. What questions do you have for me?
And Mr. Ford, could I start off with one question? And just for the listening audience, Ms. Cooper-Ryder, growing from 2023, 96 students to 213 this year, it's hard sometimes to get students to go to school during the year. So how did you grow this number? What was the technique that you and your peers used to actually grow this number over the last 2 years?
More communication with families to making sure that they understand, hey, this is this can really benefit your student educationally. Earlier time framing, so kind of sharing the information earlier so families can attend sooner. And then also just asking more to come and just being more explicit with saying, hey, if you're not achieving, you have to attend and receive some sort of summer intervention, and summer school is a great opportunity for your child.
Thank you.
I heard it was absolutely wonderful from several students that attended. So
Awesome.
I've gotten some really good feedback from some kids. Where did you go on the field trip?
Preschool through 2nd grade, I believe, went to Virginia Living Museum. They're all science themed. And then our 3rd through 8th and gifted students went to the Virginia Air and Space.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good evening.
And I just wanted to make sure I not only thank Ms. Cooper-Ryder, but the whole entire team that she had working with her, from the admin aides all the way down to every single staff member. So thank you for a successful summer.
All right, and now for 14.5, Western Tidewater Community Service Board Memorandum of Understanding.
Ms. Buggs?
Good evening, Chairman Ford and board members, along with Dr. Coleman, and great to see you tonight, Ms. Pulley. You should have before you the Memorandum of Understanding between Western Tidewater Community Service Board and Wight County Public Schools. We are hopeful that we will continue this partnership again this year that we had with them on last year. This allows just additional resources for our students in regards to having clinicians on site in all of our schools. And of course, all of this comes with parents having first choice. Our school staff first refers them to Western Tidewater, and from there, then parents have the choice if they would like to seek any services with Western Tidewater. So I hope that tonight I can answer any questions that you may have before you consider moving forward with this MOU.
And once again, Mr. Chair, Ms. Bugs, for the individuals that do not know a lot about the actual MOU, could you just hit some light details concerning the MOU to inform them of the partnership?
Certainly. Part of the MOU does state that Western Tidewater will have the school counseling intervention program, which use a multi-tiered systems support, which allows them to be in classrooms or be in the school. The school division does agree to allow these clinicians to have space in the school division in order to work in a private area with students. Also, there is the substance abuse and prevention for our alternative program, as well as having a clinician on site at the Alternative Learning Center. There's also where there is that agreement between the school division and Western Tidewater, again, in regards to FERPA and HIPAA, making sure that we're following those regulations as well. I think the most important part is Western Tidewater has more services once families agree to it than what we can offer as a school division.
Thank you there, Ms. Bugs.
Just some positive feedback. Talking from a teacher's perspective, it is an invaluable service in our schools. All day long, you hear their names called. Can you come to the classroom and help with this? Can you come to the classroom and help with this? And I always joke with them that they were hiding behind a tree. Well, no need to hide because somebody was going to find them.
Agreed.
But literally, these positions I have just seen made tremendous improvements with our students. So, great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that feedback.
Is there a certain capacity of individuals a counselor can take on per year?
I'll be honest, I would have to get back to you because I'm
Okay.
not for certain what their caseload can be.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Do we know how many students and families have utilized their services before?
Yes, last year, there were 208 referrals from our school division, and out of the 208, 91 successfully connected for services. Out of that, there were 77 families who they were unable to contact, and through our, we have quarterly meetings with them, and what they discovered was many of the families were unable to connect because, as most of us who have cell phones know, when random numbers pop up, sometimes they're identified as spam. So this year, they're planning to do better with having a true dedicated line so that when they do make those phone calls, families will be able to identify it instead of it being like those potential spam phone calls. Also, they had 27 families who did decline services. 8 are still active, and there were 5 that were closed due to special circumstances. And some of them special circumstances could have been just because they moved away from the area, were examples. Also, through the Youth and Substance Abuse and Prevention, they served 36 students, and out of the 36, 3 are actively participated in individual youth substance abuse therapy, and 1 is still actively having services for youth substance abuse.
Awesome, that's good information. I don't think I have any other questions on that.
Okay.
With the new Power School communication to parents going through, would that not be a venue for you to use that will remedy some of this parent contact information if it's coming through the Power School services?
Well, Western Tidewater doesn't have access, so normally the referring source, being the school division, lets the family know that they'll be in contact with them. So normally we're giving them that information as a heads up, but it's just a matter of then them using their service to respond.
Okay.
Last question, were there any challenges that you faced with Western Tidewater Community Services Board in the, I guess, the system that you guys have in place? Or is there anything that we can do to, make that, easier or better?
There was a challenge that they did acknowledge, was that they did not always have clinicians on site, because just like everywhere else, there are shortages in employment. And so they are remedying, trying to make sure that they do have the clinicians. Of course, one of the things that they have shared is because they don't truly have a caseload, like starting on day one, so it makes it a little challenging for them to determine how many staff members they're going to need, because it's based on how many accept the services.
Is there any way that we can, kind of get some forward insight on that? Can we, predict or from, I guess, last few weeks of school to say, hey, we recognize these students will need your services going into, or is it?
Based on the past.
Yeah. Is that possible?
Yes, but again, it's up to parents to accept the services. And I think the other part is I was talking with them, today's Thursday, so I was talking with them on Tuesday, and one of the things that they did share, that they were in the process of offering employment to a new clinician as they began to prepare.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I have no further questions or discussion.
And
Thank you,
Mr. Chair, just remember, this is just informational, so you have some time to come up with more questions, different things. The action item will be next month.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Wilkes. All right, and now for the financial monthly reports.
Good evening. Before you is the financial report for the month ending July 31st. There's nothing really out of the ordinary to report for the first month of the fiscal year. You will note that I did not include a separate grant report, as trying to reconcile all the grants and get all the balances to carry forward takes a little bit of time. But I can assure you all the reimbursements are being submitted timely, and I should have an update for you next month. I can give you an update on fiscal year 26. We are still working through reconciling everything, but it is looking like we will be returning about $1.8 million to the county. It's much higher than I had anticipated because I didn't need to transfer as much money to the health insurance fund. If you recall, we were aiming to have about $3.5 million in the health insurance fund to cover the run-out claims with the change in the health insurance. So I didn't have to transfer as much. You'll note in the financial report here, the beginning balance for the health fund is $3.5. So of that 1.8, about 800,000 is the amount we're basically giving back, which represents how much we didn't need for the 27 budget for the health insurance change. And then the balance of $1 million, I believe Dr. Coleman will be requesting those funds back as reversionary. We have several one-time projects. And/or, we may need it to help with those electricity increases. Are there any specific questions?
How many runoff claims have been processed through the summer? Do you have that number?
Through July, there's been about not even 500,000.
Okay.
I don't know where this $3.5 million number came from, sir.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah,
'cause
it's fine. It's fine. Any other questions on that? Any discussion? All right. Thank you, Mr. Berry.
You're welcome.
All right, now for our operations update.
All right. And this will be Mr. Hicks for the operations update. And as Mr. Hicks comes down, I think that we all know that Mr. Hicks is now the Director of Operations and Capital Projects. And I just want to let you know that we had a lot of applicants for this position, a lot of individuals that were really pushing forward to be with this position. But the reason why, I just want to read a little something about Mr. Hicks. His career reflects more than 3 decades of leadership in facilities management, maintenance operations, construction, project oversight, and senior leadership roles at Old Dominion University, Christopher Newport University, and York County School Division. He is a master electrician with an extensive supervisory experience in APPA certified educational facilities professional credentials, OSHA 30 certification, and a proven history of leading capital improvement projects. He has a rare combination of technical expertise in strategic leadership and operational excellence. Now, he has a lot of experience in managing large budgets, directing construction and renovation projects, and overseeing over 100 contractors every single year, ensuring regulatory compliance and leading high-performance team. Now, with this collaborative leadership style and in-depth knowledge, it will help us to move these projects that we're currently working on forward efficiently for maximizing taxpayer resources. And that is one of the things that Mr. Hicks stood out during the interview process, which led him here. So I just want to give you a small introductory on Mr. Hicks. Go right ahead, Mr. Hicks.
Thank you. Go to the next slide. So I'm going to give a quick report on where we're at with school readiness. Right now, our cleaning status is at 85%. It's probably closer to 90 at this moment. Starting next week, we'll be doing walkthroughs of all the schools with ABM to make sure they are ready for open. Our routine deep cleaning activities are progressing on schedule. Most classrooms, common areas, and support spaces have been completed. Remaining work includes fine detailing and touch-ups and inspections. Teams remain on task and all cleaning activities before school opening. As for maintenance, we are ongoing maintenance projects. We have completed several. We have worked on, got the wrong card. We are completing the awning this week, finishing up at Windsor High School. It has been painted. They are finishing up the brickwork as we speak. Weather permitting, it should be done by Tuesday. And then we'll do our final check on that. We have also Tyler, Middle, Carsville, parking lots have been completed. The Smithville High School band room is underway to be completed. We're trying to get the CO tomorrow. So after that, we will have more of a detailed report for you on what is outstanding, but that should be open by next week. The maker space is underway. We got our permits for the wall framing, and they're well underway on that, and we're trying to get that open before school starts. It is on track as we speak now. We have done some painting at Carsville. We've done painting at, I'm new, so I'm trying to keep track of all this.
No pressure.
I'm trying to catch up with other people's projects. So we'll be scheduling couple more walkthroughs when they finish the painting. Carsville is done. We've also done all elementary schools, Carsville, Windsor, and Carrollton have painting that are finishing up. So right now, we're on progress to be open for school when most of our major projects completed. As you know, we do have the AC problem, which we do have that scheduled for next week for compressor replacement. So that should be completed by the end of the week. Any questions?
I'm not going to hit you with a whole lot right off the bat. One question, would it be possible just to get inside the building and see what's actually taking place right now before school starts?
We should get inside of any of the buildings, all buildings, or we had a particular one?
Yeah, if we could just set something up, just, to see what's going on right now.
Absolutely. We can do a walkthrough, just depending upon where they're waxing the floors and different things of that nature.
Yeah,
We can do a workaround.
I'm thinking about more specifically the makerspace area.
I can definitely
like
get
that.
back to you on that, get a schedule out to you, and we probably can work something out.
Okay. Now, the one question I have, going back to CTE and the welding lab with the clean air system, is that resolved, or are we still in the process?
All right, now I'm going to lean back on Ms. Getz at this time for get the 100% accurate answer.
Yes, that has been resolved. We are going, well, we think it's been resolved. We are waiting. We have a recommendation. We are waiting to see if it's going to be cost-effective, which we believe it will be. We should have an answer in the next week. But we have what we want, and that would be that system, yes.
That's for the fresh air intake system, is that correct? That's what I'm referencing.
I don't know if that's I don't want to sell it. I don't want to say that exactly. I'm not sure if that's what it's called.
The one where the impeller basically blew.
This is the one where it's, I don't know, do you know what he's talking
Okay,
about?
yes. I was a little confused at first. I thought you were talking about the new section. Yes, that is already repaired, Mr. Wooster.
Cool, I'm good.
Oh.
Okay, yes. Yeah, that was before Mr. Hicks.
We thought you were referring to, because that is actually the name of the system that we're going to be using for the new welding lab. The clean air, that's the exact name of the system.
Okay.
That's what we thought you were referring to.
Enclosed welding system.
Yes.
Right.
And we are
Right.
we were looking at that versus their traditional, and so we decided to go with
Yeah,
that. So that's
I'd like to get something set up, get over there and just take a look at the progress.
There's very little progress right now in there, but it will be happening, very quickly in the next month or two. But
Okay.
right now, there's not a whole lot in the new space.
In the new space.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I'm gonna
I
put it
don't want
back
to get anyone confused, but we have several different spaces that are being renovated, and the new makerspace area is coming to a close, but the old makerspace area with welding in it is still under construction, and Ms. Getz is leading that charge to make sure that that's completed also. So it's a couple of different projects going on. I don't want to confuse anyone.
I'm gonna put the ball back in your court, and as time allows, if you could get something scheduled, just so we can get a walkthrough,
Okay. That's
and
no
we're not
problem.
in everybody's way.
Right. That's no problem at all, Mr. Wooster.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Good evening. Let's slide right into the transportation updates. So we'll start off with the most popular topic this time of the year. It is business as usual for August in the Transportation Department. So we're laying the framework for our routes. We always do our absolute best to make sure we get the routes to the principals 1 week before school starts. So our deadline this year, we're going to have those to the schools no later than August 31st. Now, considering the way that we lay our routes and the framework for them, we follow our guiding principles. Students, of course, may have to walk up to 0.2 miles if they reside in a neighborhood in the area stop. And also, too, one of our major practices, we implement everything that we can to keep our bus routes 45 minutes or shorter. And we are pretty good at fulfilling that with pretty high accuracy. Looking at our fleet, Mr. Sullivan actually corrected me the other day. They've done an outstanding job. He actually says they're going to be 99% ready for the first day of school. So literally that means of our buses, like all of them will be running, maybe except for possibly one, maybe two. So they've done fine work this summer in the Fleet Services Department. Now, of course, one of the things that we do in transportation, we always have our eyes on the developments that are coming up. So we have a new one in Windsor and a new one in Smithfield. So we've known about these for a little while. So really, at this point, we're still waiting on our student enrollment numbers to come in, but we do anticipate, we know the size of those neighborhoods. We go in and we assess the traffic patterns, we assess the routes and how it's going to fit. Are we going to need another bus for that neighborhood and so forth? But certainly, we're watching Windsor Station and Mallory Point that are getting ready to open up in both ends of the county, and they now officially do have students enrolled from those neighborhoods. And then last but not least, the MyView bus app registration, so that was a very high success last year. We're going to hit the ground running. It's going to have the green light on the first day of school. It's going to be live. We're going to do our absolute best to get the word out to all the families to get on it, to access it and register for it. It's a very valuable asset and really has tremendously saved us time. Like, we have noticeably less calls, noticeably less emails. Once you get in, if you know how to work a cell phone app, you can usually figure it out and get it running pretty quickly. And it's been a tremendous asset. And with that, I will answer any questions you have.
What's the longest bus route we have right now?
So it's going to be right here at Hardy. If you look at the map zone of Hardy, the school zone of Hardy, so essentially the Hardy zone stretches all the way out to basically the foot of Ivor. So like from Hardy Elementary, if you drove a car to the very end of the school zone out there, it's going to take about 35 minutes in a car, one way. Not going up and down all the back roads, stopping the bus, dropping kids off. So that's one of those scenarios. It's going to be very, very challenging. We do our absolute best, though. The bus does not have a ton of kids. We try to keep it rolling, and we try to cut corners and make it efficient when we can. But just the geographic size of the school zone, it's just one of the things that we face.
What's the max capacity you have on any of the buses?
Great question. So our new buses, the majority of them are 77 capacity. So that would be 3 elementary students per seat. The majority of the buses in the rear, there's like a smaller seat that is, the capacity would be 2 near the emergency exit.
And are we at capacity on all of them?
So last year, our staffing peaked, and what that means is I had more drivers than I've ever had since I've been in this position, so we were able to spread out a little bit. So we were not that close last year, but I do recall a couple years ago, a couple of our buses, thinking of the Wellington States bus, it had lower 70s. It was close. We had to watch it very, very closely, pretty much week to week.
Will we know if we hit capacity on day 1 of school this year?
Yeah, so our drivers are trained specifically, so they have documentation they keep. So we look at those ridership numbers. They actually turn it in every month. It's a VDOE form, so we track that. But we actually get it from them early. We get it from them after the first week of school. We check it, and then I think they actually turn it in like after the 10-day mark. We kind of reassess, and then we realign if needed. So certainly our bus drivers are trained, though. If they're on the route, let's say, and like something has occurred and there's way more students than expected, the bus can't move if more than 77 elementary kids get on it, and they know that. We have the process for how we'll handle that if it does come up. It's never happened, but certainly it's something we need to be aware of.
I don't know, I'm just sitting here processing and thinking that the behavior issues come from those buses that have so many kids on them. Is there anything that we have in place that if we have so many kids on one bus and you don't have but 10 on another bus because of the neighborhoods that they're going in, do we have anything where we can cut those numbers?
Yeah, we absolutely try to strike a balance. So believe it or not, the full buses might actually clear earlier than the buses that only have like 25 kids on it. So like we can't make that, the route that I described you earlier, I can't make that any longer. So like I have to, so it's a very much delicate balance, but there are some things that we do. We give our drivers training to help out with management. I was told a couple years before I came, we actually had bus aides on a big school bus. So that's something that we've done in the past if needed. We've since gotten away from that. So we do have some options if needed. But, you know, fortunately, we've never gotten to the point where anything has been so bad we can't manage it. If it's extreme, then I come in and the principal comes in. We put some measures in place to make sure we can get it addressed.
Thank you.
Yep.
Way to go, Mark. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have Mr. Brinkley.
All right. As you know, every July and August, we have to complete the school safety audit, and that includes our safety surveys, which have to be completed by all of the building principals within 30 days after the last day of school. And kudos to all of the principals this year. We got those in well ahead of schedule. They got them in well before the deadline. And then the revisions of the crisis management plans are to be completed and turned into DCJS by August 31st. And the majority of the principals already have sent me their revisions, and we're going over those. The division reunification plan is being revised, and we are developing MOUs with outside organizations for that. Weapons detection devices have been tested in preparation for the start of school, and the final setups for all of those will be completed the week prior to school starting. Once I have the school security officers come back in, and Mr. Hicks mentioned the awning project at Windsor High School. As many of you know, this has been a project that's been in the works for quite some time and really helps us out at Windsor High School for inclement weather procedures. Previously, we've had to kind of reroute the students coming in through different hallways during inclement weather, but this awning will be a major help there in not having to reroute the students through. So that's going to be a great addition. I've also been in contact with the Sheriff's Office, and I talked to Captain Acey who has said that the final assignments for all of the SROs and all 9 schools have been determined. So we'll be presenting that and getting all of that information out to the building admins as far as who their SROs will be for the year. And then, as I mentioned, the week of August 31st through September 4th will be a professional development week for all of the school security officers as they come back. Their start date will be August 31st, and we'll be running all of the SSOs through the initial certification, including our contract SSOs. We'll be pushing them through the DCJS requirements for the initial certification. And then some other preparations for back to school where we're constantly evaluating traffic patterns to ensure the safest practices. As we know, we have some bumps in the road at some of our schools that we're trying to overcome and implement the safest practices possible. One thing that I would like to mention is to encourage parents and our student drivers as we do go back to school. Every year we run into, as new parents and new students come to, say, Smithfield High School, Smithfield Middle School, we run into some issues with them not being extremely familiar with the traffic patterns. And the first couple of weeks of school, it does take some time. So I just want to encourage parents and student drivers to be patient and bear with it. And then just one of the things that we want to encourage all of our stakeholders we want them to make sure we keep the mindset of see something, say something. So if throughout the school year, as we start up school, throughout the school year, if you see something that's an unsafe practice, an area that we can improve, please bring it to our attention. So that's one of the things that we just really want to encourage all of our stakeholders to do. Any questions?
I just want to drop back to the weapon detection systems.
Mm-hmm.
I know the original plan, when we started this whole process, have them implemented in each one of the schools at each grade level. Where are we currently in that process?
So currently we have them at all of our secondary schools. What we have found as we rolled them out into the high schools, we found that we need the staffing. Where we initially thought we would be able to rely on it being a duty assignment for some of the teachers and different things, we quickly learned from our incident at Smithfield High School that we need to have other people in place there, other security personnel there to be able to handle those situations. So we're running into now a staffing issue because along with the cost of the detectors themselves, we have to provide the staffing for them.
Without looking at the contract, is that something that the SSOs could be involved in?
Yes, they're manning those at the secondary schools. They're manning those every morning.
Okay. What about the elementary schools?
We currently don't have the contract SSOs in the elementary schools. We only have them in the secondary schools.
Okay, but do we have the weapons detection systems?
No, we do not have those. We haven't purchased those yet.
Okay. Are we looking at purchasing anytime in the near future?
I think that is a goal. As far as a timeline, I couldn't speak to that.
It's a couple of things that play that goes into play there, Mr. Wooster. We do know from the previous rollout that when we purchase the weapons detection, we're going to have to make sure that we ensure that we have those SSOs also. So it's going to be a package deal, and rolling that entire package deal out to 5 schools instead of 2 and 2 as we did the previous past 2 years. So it will be a package deal, but that is something that we can look at for the next budget season. But once again, it's going to be a bigger cost than we have seen before because we're looking at 5 schools and coverage for those weapons detections at all of the schools through SSOs.
Right. I mean, you're looking at more schools and just like everything else, the price of everything's going up.
You're correct. You are absolutely correct.
Do we have a timeline that we're looking at or not?
Well, we're going to look at it through budget season. So I said we'll start really focusing on that in the October, November timeframe.
Okay. I'll have more questions for you then.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I do have a question on the reunification plan. You said that you were working on some MOUs with outside partners. What partners in particular? Or?
Looking at some faith-based organizations because Where we really run into the issue, and we've discussed with the majority of our schools, we can use other school sites as the reunification sites. When we get out to Smithfield High School, Smithfield Middle School, just due to the sheer volume of students, we don't have other schools that can house and accommodate that many students as an off-site reunification. So we're trying to partner with some of the faith-based organizations, some of the churches in the area, to look at possibilities of using their sites for the reunifications.
Okay. That's perfect. Thank you.
This may not be real, I don't know if this fits into this or not, but a big issue in the schools for traffic control and traffic direction is the number of teachers who are out there directing traffic, me, one of them. I've been out there with a stop sign for the last 10 years. The safety issues of taking teachers with no training and putting them in the streets with stop signs. Is there any way that the police can help with that? I mean, we've even been told that the SROs cannot go out and direct traffic, even when it's needed at times. So I'm just wondering, does that fall into all of this?
So as far as the law enforcement, like the SROs, for the school resource officers, that's not part of their job description based off of the grant that they operate under.
Okay.
So with that, what we did implement last year was we partnered with the Wight Department of Transportation to provide some flagger training and traffic direction training to some of the staff that are being used in that capacity. And that's something that we're still looking at and trying to come up with a better, safer practice for. But what we did do last year was implementing the traffic direction training for the staff that were being used. All right, thank you.
So what we're looking at is basically the slides that we're going to be bringing. We're going to be doing an open forum for the CIP in the next coming week, couple weeks coming up. Basically, we're going to be talking of open forum with the community to find out their concerns or their needs they would like to have. And then once we develop that, we'll also be putting out, we'll be putting out our large-scale projects that we would like to have come up. We would also talk about results from public meeting and surveys submitted to the school board as quickly as we can so you can review so we can get it to the Board of Supervisors. We've got a lot of projects over the last couple of years that Dr. Coleman had completed and some that we're completing now. And some of them, this is really a great time to hit them when we can.
Absolutely. It's just a layout of the
Yeah.
CIP, so just
Yeah.
giving you a brief film.
How are we advertising that community forum?
Mr. Hicks will be working with other individuals at central office to make sure that we have a site in the southern end and the northern end of the county, and also online surveys to go out to. So all of that will be advertised out probably on the new messenger to be sent out to parents and maybe in the newspaper. The same way that we did it last time to really communicate to the community will be the same way we do it this time.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hicks.
Thanks, Hicks.
All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back after that. So it's 7:27. We'll start back up.
Gotcha.
She said, how old are you turning this year? I said, I'm turning 40 this year. She said, no, you're not. You look like you're
Welcome back.
25.
With that being said, we can go ahead and get into the next topic.
That'll be 14.8, strengthening leadership for continuous improvement. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Chairman Ford, school board members, Dr. Coleman, and community stakeholders. Ms. Street and I are here to present strengths-based leadership and instructional rounds that we presented at the state level at the Virginia Association for Elementary School Principals. So first, we would like to thank the board for allowing us to have 2 cohorts of leaders to convene at Harvard University to learn about instructional rounds and to bring that back to the school division. We are now entering year 3 of that practice, and we like to call it a rotating residency. So we brought that back to our division, and of course we implemented the first year, and of course along the way you find new practices and make improvements, and so we adjusted it to the Isle of Wight way. So that is our disclaimer. So we did take some points from the instructional rounds and tailor fitted it to our needs.
All right, so you may not know, but every month we have leadership meetings and we meet with principals and assistant principals. So prior to that, principals were the only ones meeting each month. But in developing our leadership pipeline, we saw the need that assistant principals need that professional development as well. So for the past around 3 years, assistant principals have also been meeting as a whole group. So principals will meet all one day, and then assistant principals will usually meet the next day or the next week. But through that, we always have the objective, and we have a theme that we follow. And this was last year's theme. This year, we have a different theme. But it really drives our purpose as we go through each month. That's connected to why we go into buildings, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But it really allows our leaders to focus themselves and then to realize that they too deserve the professional development as a leader and not just a manager of our school. Next, you're familiar with this, is our Clifton Strengths. That is embedded into our leadership meetings as well. So our morning is set up going into classrooms, providing feedback for buildings and leaders, and then our afternoon is focused on their individual professional development, and we pull in the Gallup Clifton Strengths. So you guys can make those connections now.
Okay, so the reason for the why do we do instructional rounds? We found that, we were host principals meetings, but like Ms. Street said, we would leave out our APs. And so sometimes the knowledge that we share in principals meetings didn't necessarily get disseminated to our assistant principals. So we wanted to break down those silos and bring all of our elementary, middle, and high school principals together. And a school will host. And the school's responsibility was to, number one, identify their problem or practice, which is in line with their strategic plan, as well as present any background data. It could be a one-pager of what's happening in their schools, some stuck point, and a focus question, and then we will host the instructional rounds. And so basically we were trying to build the leadership capacity of our school leaders. Next. So we started examining the relationship between the teacher, the students, as well as the content that was provided inside the classrooms. Before, we would do instructional walks, and we would be very judgmental when our walks, provide limited feedback to our teachers, and oftentimes our teachers wondered what happened when the administration came through, and there was no follow-through. So the instructional rounds changed our purpose. So now it's not judgmental, it's more objectionable, actionable items that we're seeing, we're collecting data on, identifying patterns and themes that are emerging from the classrooms so we can then improve instruction and move forward with teaching and learning in our schools. So again, as Ms. Street has already mentioned, we have a cross-section of groups. It combines the elementary, middle, and high, our division level leadership as well, and we ask our teams to go into the classrooms and collect objectionable and very descriptive data, what they see, what they hear, and that is it. They are not to put any assumptions into the data points that they're collecting. And the focus is always tied back to their strategic plan and the school's problem practice.
So I want you to kind of picture, so we're at a school and we're going in just like Dr. S.J. shared, and these are the instructional core. So this is what we've trained our leaders and our teacher leaders on, that when you go into the classroom, we're specifically looking at these three things: the teacher, the student, and the content. And then really that task, right? So are students being asked of them, does that match the activity that they're doing? Really checking for that alignment. Are they doing what they say that they're doing? And then connecting that to the learning objectives and the school strategic plan. So this is an example of last year. This year we have a division level pot, but last year schools had individual problems of practice. And Westside did a phenomenal job, which is why we're highlighting them for their problem of practice. And they were examining behaviors and behavior expectations in the school setting. They were seeing an increase of maybe some referrals, students eloping, maybe being in the hallways too much. So they identified that as a need, and they weren't quite sure why those things were happening, which is they came to a POP, the problem of practice. So the leadership team met with school teams, and they developed some expectations for the school. They trained the staff on those expectations. And then when we come in to observe, we're focusing on those focus questions to then give the leaders that feedback. So, hey, we've been trying these things, but can you all tell us if they're working? And then you'll see a little explanation for a video of when Dr. SJ and I were at the VAESP conference. Right, so we're gonna kind of jump in. So like we're at Westside Elementary School, right? So we've all come to help support them with their problem of practice. Westside's problem of practice was inconsistent behaviors and behavior expectations in the school setting are disrupting instructional flow, hindering school operations, and reducing equitable learning opportunities for all students. Now these problems of practice just didn't happen. We worked with each school individually to look at their data and establish what would be the best problem of practice, because they didn't know the why. Like, why were behaviors impeding on instruction, right? They found out this year why after doing it, and we'll kind of give you a little bit of feedback of what that process looked like. But then what they did is they said, okay, we know that this is our problem and we don't know why, because if you know the why, then it's not a problem, right? You have to get to that stuck point, the why, like Dr. SJ said. And they didn't know why. Because then when you start getting into opinions like, well, this teacher doesn't do this and this teacher doesn't do this, that's not the purpose, right? You're thinking about system structures. What is not happening at our school that is causing this problem, right? Not the teacher. Right? What as leadership do we control? So then they went into these focus questions. One was about observing behavior expectations clearly and consistently. They figured that not all teachers were doing the same thing at the same time. When kids asked to leave to go to the bathroom, when they're walking in the hallways, different teachers were following different expectations. And also with like technology, that was another big piece, right? Some classrooms were allowing this and some classrooms weren't. From an observer perspective, which is us, does the school climate reflect a safe, respectful, and orderly environment that allows that opportunity of learning to happen? So like, what is the relationship that you see with the teacher and the student? Remember the instructional core. What do you see when you're walking into that classroom? Are they welcoming? Are they helping? Are they sitting at their desk? Are they just talking the whole time, right? Like, what does that look like? So that's a sample problem of practice from Westside from this year.
Okay. And so after we finish, you can go to the next slide. So after we finish with our instructional rounds or our walks, we come back and we take notes. We come back and we look at the notes that we've taken from those classrooms. Again, very specific, descriptive, and objectionable. And so we're looking for these high leverage patterns. Not every observation is actually going to become a pattern. And not every pattern is actually going to be high leverage. We're looking for things that are reoccurring, that's going to be a theme across multiple classrooms, and not just in one particular classroom, across multiple classrooms, multiple grade levels in the school setting. And it is also going to directly impact our teacher relationship, students, as well as their content, that instructional core piece yet again. And like Ms. Street said in the presentation, it's all about making changes to what I can do that's within my system of control. Principal's gonna take those actionable steps.
So our group of principals and SAO leaders, we split into the 4 groups. We go visit classrooms, and then we come back, like SJ said, and then we write all this feedback down on Post-its, and those are the images that you're seeing. So each group identifies a couple behaviors from each classroom, and then we sit, we analyze, and we look at how can we organize based on the feedback into different categories of what we're seeing. And then what comes from that is each group ends up sharing the high leverage patterns, which you see on the big yellow Post-its, right? So our group saw a lot of this, our group saw a lot of that. And you'll notice the statements like 4 out of 4 classrooms reflected safe, respectful, orderly environments. Again, that goes back to that very specific language. That's great feedback for the principal and the leadership team to understand what is working and what is not working in their building. And then that's the same thing with group 3 and group 4. Again, you can see different categories for each group, but ultimately what comes from this and what we found from the instructional round process is you're going to start to see the same high leverage trends mostly. There have been some cases where we have visited schools and maybe 3 groups had one observation and 1 group had something completely different, which that is also feedback for the leadership team to review.
So then we compile all those yellow notes together to come up with 1 to 2 summary statements to lead with the school leadership team. And so as you can see on the left side, these were the 3 high leverage patterns that emerged from Westside's instructional round. And so as you can see, those are 3 bulleted points that his now SLT, which is his school leadership team, they can now come in and they have the feedback from our instructional rounds. And they have things that they can work on to move that needle, to move that pop, to focus more on those focus questions, as well as the principal can develop his next level of work. So we always ask them, what's next? So we always put it in theory or practice. If I do this, then this should happen. So based off those 3 high leverage patterns that emerge from those rounds, the principal is now to put those in actionable steps. Again, things that's within their control to make a difference in their school improvement process. Are there any questions?
Great job on this work, guys. You know, I know it's, to me, this comes off like a long-term research project. And I think one of the things that I do have a question about is how are we measuring or tracking the implementation of the actual actionable items? And then, you know, are we putting things in place to be able to measure what is successful and, you know, set a benchmark for those things?
Yeah, so each year, our schools, they have strategic plans, just like we have a division level strategic plan. So like this was Westside's problem or practice. It was part of his strategic plan. So every month, his team meets. We do data digs with the schools every quarter.
Okay.
And when we have principals meeting, yet Westside might be a host this month, right, for the principals meeting. And we leave them with the next level of work.
Okay.
Okay? So when we come back the following month, they are to present where did you land with this next level of work, and they share out a summary report with us. Okay. And we do the same thing at the APs meeting as well. So Westside's APs will present to the APs. Again, we're sharing the knowledge as a collective because we're trying to build capacity of our leaders.
Is there I guess, notated anywhere or presented anywhere the overall outcomes from this information? Or
Yes, the school collects their own data.
okay,
And like I said, at the data dig that we hold every quarter,
okay,
principals are sharing out.
okay, and that's available to parents and everything as well?
Absolutely, yes.
And I'll also share from our process of learning through the instructional rounds. You know, last year every school had an individual problem of practice, and we collected that data, and we looked at that. And then what we as an instructional team found was that we needed to have one division level problem of practice because of that tier 1 need in every building.
Gotcha.
So that's the next action step for us, where all schools have the same problem of practice, but different focus questions based off those strategies. So that piece right there is because of what happened last year.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, I'll just piggyback because I was at Westside, and it really, the beginning of the year, the number one question, our number one question was, what is the one thing that is keeping us from teaching in the classroom? And all of us answered behavior for it. It was throughout the school. And the improvement in that building in 1 year, just kudos to you, because we really saw this in action, and it really did make a huge, huge difference. And the nice thing about behavior is that you can go back and look at the number of referrals and how many guidance counselor referrals and how many Western Tidewater referrals, and all of that played into it. And it really was a marketed improvement.
Well, since we have you here, Ms. Bradshaw, what were some of the what were some of the things that you guys did in the classroom to kind of curb those behavior concerns?
Well, common language was number one.
Okay.
We developed an order of expectations, and we used those words repeatedly.
Okay.
And then you had it was
Legacy
a
ladder.
colored pattern, and you could look at a child and say, all right, you're moving from green to yellow. You know,
Okay.
you need to stop for a second. And so we all tried very, very hard, regardless of what you were teaching, to use those words and to make sure that we were all moving students on that level and they understood what it meant.
That's good.
That's part of it.
Made a difference.
Is there a way to, are we thinking about how to accommodate for the changes in leadership throughout the years to make sure that these things are continued regardless of who is in the driver's seat?
Yeah. So schools are tasked from our last leadership symposium for them to all develop their own PBIS model.
Okay.
That's consistent across the entire school. Doesn't matter where you are in the building, whether you're in the classroom, hallway, cafeteria, you have a list of expectations and rules to follow.
Okay. Absolutely. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
And I was just gonna add to that, like, coming into the gym, I might let a kid keep a hoodie on his head, even though I don't, but that's just as an example. No one allowed them to keep a hoodie on the head. I mean, before we got this, some teachers were allowing this, some teachers were allowing that, and when this came, it was, everybody is consistently with the same expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of
Yeah,
it.
that's crucial to classroom management, so.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and now for the understanding the 1% sales tax referendum.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to make sure that, that we get a full understanding of the 1% sales tax. And so I don't have to call on them later. If Mr. Berry and Ms. Briggs can just come on out, so I don't have to wait for them to come up later. All right. So overall, we're not going to take a deep dive here today because we do have a lot of time before everything goes into play. But I did want to start off in helping the community to understand what all of the conversations surrounding the 1% sales tax referendum and how it affects the school division. So, first of all, the sales tax referendum is not a tax that the local governing body, the Board of Supervisors, is applying to the local populace. It is overall an opportunity for the local populace to be able to choose whether they want the sales tax or not. That is the one big difference for it. Also, the money is only restricted to school capital projects. The revenue cannot be used for salaries, employee benefits, instructional materials, supplies, or normal day-to-day operations. I know that constituent asked Ms. Bradshaw, could those funds be taken away from the normal school operational budget? Which, and the answer is no. It can only be used for those capital projects that are identified. Now, the referendum is also connected to the identifiable facility needs. As for Isle of Wight, it will be connected directly to the new elementary school, and it'll be connected to Smithfield renovation, Smithfield High School renovation. With those two items identified after, and help me out, Mr. Very, they identified after the fact that the referendum comes into play, then it can be applied to those projects. But it just cannot be applied to anything other than that. It's stipulated of what the project will be used for, and there's also a time limit that it will be applied. So if the tax is applied to Smithfield, well, the new elementary school, once again, there's a 20-year cap on how long the project can go on. After the 20 years, it dissolves away. It's grandfathered away, and then the next project, we can apply for it again. But I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Now, also, the necessities are exempt. So things that the additional tax would not apply for: food purchase for human consumption or essential personal hygiene products. Those two things are actually not, will be taxed by this referendum. And I've already talked about the 20 years that it has. But overall, the questions that I guess every citizen should be able to answer when we go into the poll to figure out whether they will will vote yes or vote no for the 1% sales tax, comes down to what are we building right now? What are we building right now is a new elementary school. The new elementary school is being built. And when I say built, I don't want to get into the details of it, but it's being designed. We're being thought of. We're moving forward on that. So either it's going to be strictly local tax funds that pay for it, or it can be, I guess you could say, a combination of other individuals coming into the county and purchasing those items that are identified to go along with that tax. And the next one is how we are proposing to pay for it. So once again, how we are going to pay for the new elementary school. Either we're going to pay for it through 100% local tax funds, or we're going to pay for it with an assortment of other funds, other taxes that are allowed. Ms. Briggs, Ms. DeVere, do you have any input on that?
I think the big distinction, as Dr. Coleman was saying, so far to cover capital projects, if additional funding is needed, you're looking at adjusting property tax. And so property owners are the only individuals that have been supporting capital projects for the school division. A sales tax would now apply to visitors, renters, people traveling through our county, which I think a lot of folks would agree, we have a lot of car traffic and people traveling through our county. So the 1% sales tax kind of spreads out the contribution to more than just property owners who have been carrying that burden for so long. Mr. Berry? No?
Go right ahead, Mr. Chair.
So in this referendum, does all the funds that we gain from this, does it have to go to one capital project? Can we have multiple capital projects? And if there are leftover funds, do we just use it up, or is that something that we have to, allocate to some other location?
At this time, I have not read anything about a cap on projects, but remember that the projects will be identified ahead of time.
Okay.
So leftover funds, there will not be any leftover funds based off the fact that the project needs to be identified ahead of time. And as soon as the project is paid for, the tax will delete.
So we have the new west side being built. That's been identified ahead of time, right?
It's being identified at this time.
Okay.
Yes, the new elementary school.
So if this is voted in, however way, that would be the only capital project that we could fund.
Well, what we're looking at, and I'm working directly with the county administrator, assistant county administrator also, is trying to identify as many projects as we possibly can
Okay.
for that time frame.
Okay, all right.
So it's not just one. We're trying to identify as many as we can.
And so would you say that we have until November to identify those projects?
No, I would say we have until next June to identify those projects because that's when it goes into effect, correct, Mr. Barrett?
It's July.
July 1. And
next
I would
July
say
1, thank you.
it's certainly, I believe, helpful for the community if we can tell them the projects we have in the queue that this would benefit. And I think that's what we're doing by saying we've already identified replacing Westside Elementary and adding on to Smithville High School. So therefore, if this were to pass, if the voters were to pass this, we know that we have those projects that the funding can be applied to.
Right.
Awesome. So the math is already done, that this thing will be in for 20 years if agreed upon, and that at least the new school that we're building will be covered, and whatever projects we determine between now and June or July next year can go into that category.
If the referendum is voted on as a yes.
Yes,
That
sir.
is correct.
Okay.
And just to clarify, that 20-year cap, that's the maximum. It's in law that it cannot extend beyond 20 years. If the debt is paid off before 20 years, the tax ends.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it does not continue and build up excess.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
I'll just re-ask my question just to make sure it's stated correctly. I had a citizen ask that if, let's say it's $4 million is in revenue, can the Board of Supervisors come back and say, all right, you're getting $4 million additional dollars to put towards the school, and so we're going to cut your budget by that $4 million. Is that a possibility?
I mean, unfortunately, I think anything's a possibility there, but the intent is that the county would use this to pay the debt service on whatever, the money they've borrowed to purchase this, so I would hope not.
Just wanted to,
I understand.
all right.
So the revenue that we bring in from this those debt services, will we pay those off at the end of the 20-year mark, or is that something that we'll be paying continuously as we collect?
When you issue debt, just like when you have any kind of
Car note.
mortgage or anything like that, you
Yep.
pay for it every year.
Okay.
And so when the county issues general obligation bonds, they're going to pay for it normally over a 20-year period.
Okay.
So that's where these funds would be utilized.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
And thank you for this time, and the community will be receiving, go right ahead, Mr. Woolston.
Ms. DeVere, this one definitely is going to be for you, because I have, this whole 1% referendum, sales tax referendum, just in casual conversations, I have spoken with several different people out in the public that have asked me about it, some in favor, some against. And the one thing that I keep looking at myself is, like you mentioned, whoever spends money in Isle of Wight County will be contributing to this 1%, no matter where they're from.
Correct.
So, in your amazing numerical brain, could you give an estimate of a difference, I guess, in cost to the citizens if you do a 1% referendum versus a, say, 5 cents on 100 tax increase? Which would be the lesser of the two that you're actually spending money for?
Well, 1 1 cent on property taxes to the county is a little over $700,000. So, and if they're estimating roughly 1% of the sales tax, you're going to get $4 million. So that's quite a big difference there, I think.
Right. But it would also lessen the burden
Correct.
to the citizens of the county.
A
And that was
property-
the point that I was trying to make.
2 property owners paying the real estate tax.
Okay. Thank you. I knew you could answer that one.
Thank you. All right. And now from the report from the superintendent.
All right. Just want to take a few minutes tonight to highlight some of the work that has taken place across IWCS over the summer. All right. Oops. All right. The first one is the first slide is the Summer Scholars Academy, more than doubled in enrollment. I think you've already heard Ms. Cooper talk about this, growing from 96 students in 2023 to 213 students this summer. Students received targeted instruction in literacy, mathematics, and science, while also participating in enrichment, field trips, hands-on learning, and family engagement opportunities. This work reflects our commitment to being bold with instruction, meeting students where they are, challenging them to grow, and creating opportunities for every child to discover what they can do. Next is the VAS Executive Director, Scott Braband. We had our opportunity to meet with Scott Braband. He's the Executive Director for VAS. These conversations are important because they allow us to maintain a strong connection with educational leadership across the Commonwealth, while also ensuring the needs and perspective of Isle of Wight County schools remain a part of the larger conversation. Next is the Leadership Symposium. One of our major activities this summer was our Leadership Symposium. Our theme was Bold Beats, the core of strong Tier 1 instruction. We brought our school division and leaders together to focus on strong core instruction, alignment, and effective use of data and consistency across our schools. As I told our leadership team, regardless of the individual roles, the work has to come back to one thing: putting students first and creating the conditions for them to be successful. Next slide. And ODU's Aspiring Rural Leadership Pipeline. This is something that I'm particularly proud of because we're seeing our partnerships with the Wallace Foundation come full circle. Several IWCS leaders are now serving as adjunct faculty in Old Dominion University's Aspiring Rural Leadership Pipeline. We are no longer simply developing leaders within IWCS. Our people are helping develop the next generation of leaders for rural school divisions across America. And lastly, we have the AWR 343 Hurricane Awareness Seminar that literally took place in this room today. IWCS had the opportunity to host the AWR 343 Hurricane Awareness Seminar here at Central Office as part of the Isle of Wight County's 3rd Annual Hurricane Week. This brought education, emergency management, public safety, and state and local partners together around hurricane preparedness and response. For us, this is bigger than school safety. It is another example of IWCS working collaboratively with the community and the county partners to ensure that we're prepared for our community needs and the start of school. That concludes the superintendent's update.
All right, and now action on closed session items. 16.1 personnel report and addendum. If we could have a motion.
I move to approve the personnel report and addendum as presented, a copy of which can be obtained from the school board clerk.
We have a second.
I second.
If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. 16.2, request for religious exemption. Could I have a motion?
I move to grant the exemption from compulsory attendance for student REX 2627-04.
We have a second on that motion.
I'll second.
No further discussion. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. Action on old business, consent agenda, meeting minutes, field trips, donation memo, and financials. Do we have an action on this? A motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as attached and presented.
A second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Ms. Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mr. Wooster,
Yes.
and Mr. Ford.
Yes. All right, and now for action on new business. 18.1 policies for first read. This would be something that, okay.
And just to clarify, there's no action on these for first read, it's information only. We are required by law to review our policies at least every 5 years, and you'll notice when you go through most of the policies that are attached here, it's because they were up for their 5-year review. There's been a few tweaks to the language in a couple. There have been there are some legal updates due to things that were approved by the General Assembly. If you have any questions about what's on the policy, you are welcome to reach out to me prior to the next board meeting. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions before the second read.
Thank you for that, Ms. Briggs. All right, 18.2, policy for second read. Do we have, here we go, thank you.
This is the policy about math that we had a discussion about last month, and so now it's up for approval.
Since this is a state mandate, we really not have to approve it, but it's encouraged to approve this, correct?
Yes, it is in the Code of Virginia.
Right. We can't make any local changes to this as far as how we implement for our schools, correct?
We have some flexibility with implementation, but pretty much it is how it is stated. That is what's in the code.
Right, I remember that from our conversation. Outside of how it's presented, are there any recommendations that you guys would put forth to make sure that our students are successful when it comes to, recommending them for an advanced mathematics class?
Yes. So while it's pretty clear of who the students are that we have to offer the accelerated math classes, we are putting some internal procedures in place to say at first 9 weeks, we're going to look at grades and see how students are performing. And if they are not being successful, we can move them back to another math class. So let's say they're in algebra and they're not performing well when we do our review at first 9 weeks, we can look to move them back to Math 8.
Okay.
So even though that's not in here,
right,
we have internal procedures that we use to review, because certainly we don't want a student sitting in algebra that's a high school credit class and receive an F.
Right.
And parents don't want that either. Right. And so if a child is not able to be successful in their first high school credit class, we want to move them out. They can try again the next year.
Is that something that we can make an official policy of Isle of Wight schools? The fact that, okay, well, we have this mandate that it has to happen, but our kind of asterisk, if you will, is that once we start to review the actual progress of that student, we can then make determinations whether they should stay in that course, or is that something that we can?
I don't really think it's necessary because it's the standard of how we do for any
Right.
class.
Okay, okay.
So that if a student is in an upper level class, any class, and they're not performing well, we do look at the option of dropping down. So I don't feel like it is at this time.
Yeah,
However, if we find, then we can certainly put like a regulation in place.
right.
I don't think it's necessary right now.
Yeah, and I'm only coming at this from the kind of like the lens of like what's best for the student. We don't want any students messing up their GPA over, you know.
Yes. And usually when you educate parents of that, they feel the exact same way.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And does this work the other way as well? Supposing you get a kid that's in the first 9 weeks and they're getting straight A's and bored to death in class, do they have the option of moving up to a more advanced?
No, typically no, especially not a high school credit because they haven't, then they would be behind on all of the work. They won't have the time that is required. Yeah. So typically no, not in that situation. There have been some situations with not a high school credit class that we've been able to do some different things, such as, yes, we have been able to, but not really for high school credit.
I think I made my position pretty clear at the last meeting. I think this is idiotic to put a student into an accelerated program without proper preparation and being prepared. That being said, looking at this with the automatic enrollment and parental opt-out, can we put emphasis and communicate with parents? How do I word this? If you've got a student that you don't feel is ready for an advanced program, can you communicate that with the parents, explain it, and emphasize the opt-out?
Yes.
It's a
and-
workaround.
Yes, and we have. I'll be honest, most parents want to push their children. That's what we've seen this year so far. We have done exactly what you said, and, you know, your child technically meets the requirements. However, we don't really believe it's in the best interest. And most parents have said, I think my child can handle it. I want to see if they can do it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Just, we'll say student A that you know, the teacher knows, is probably not ready for an advanced program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you put the parents, sure, they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Put the student in an advanced program and they just bomb.
Yeah.
They fail it.
Yeah.
What does that do to that student's self-esteem?
Yeah, and that's why, and that's exactly why we put that procedure in place that at first 9 weeks, we're going to evaluate, see where the student is, and then make some decisions moving forward, like, is this the best placement for the exact reason you just said? And they're not getting the content.
And I do apologize, but I have not contacted the patron yet. I am. I don't like this at all. I'm not in favor of it.
I understand.
But as Mr. Ford stated, I don't think we have an option to not implement this.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. That's it. I just want to put my 2 cents in on it.
Thank you.
That's where I stand.
I'm sorry, what is it that you don't like? I missed that. What are you not in favor of?
What I don't like is taking a student who is not properly prepared or ready for an advanced program and setting them up for failure. That's what I'm not in favor of. I think it should be the recommendation of the teacher to go to an advanced program if they feel that student is ready.
I think.
So is it not based on their grades and?
It's based on the SOL scores.
It's based on one SOL score.
And it's not even the, so, you know, in the SOL scores, you can get advanced. It's the it's right above the minimum that you have to score to pass the actual SOL. So it's like 420.
It varies by test, but some of them are as low as, I believe, 426 was the lowest.
Right.
So passing 400, a 426 would make you eligible for this advanced math course.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think that's the biggest concern, that if somebody scores a 426, they're automatically bumped up to that advanced class, and they still may not be as strong a student in that subject.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
you know, it's reasonable, right? Where
Oh,
you're coming
yes.
from is a reasonable
Yes.
concern.
We understand as well.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we have those systems in place so that we
Yes.
can support our students.
We
So,
agree fully.
all right. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, for 18.3, actually, we have to vote on this. Could I have a motion to approve that policy?
Move to approve the policy for second read as presented.
We'll take, could I have a second?
Second.
If no more discussion, we'll take a vote, Madam Clerk.
All right, Ms. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
In good conscience, no. I can't support it.
Okay.
Then, wait a minute, yeah. 'Cause Mr. Ford can vote now.
I have the last vote.
Yeah,
Okay, Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And now for 18.3, regulations and exhibits.
And Ms. Briggs is
Ms.
just there
Briggs.
for question, if there's any questions. Ms.
Okay,
Briggs, come up.
okay.
Are there any questions at this time for Ms. Briggs?
No questions at this
Okay.
moment. All right, and now for board member comments. In our pursuit to fill the vacant seat for Isle of Wight School Board District 1, we have been taking in applications for qualified candidates. We look to conclude our search by next Monday. I believe we all are going to meet on the 17th and host interviews that day. If anything changes, we will definitely let the public know. But for your information, and this information can be found on our website, and I think as well as a newspaper in some soon, in some capacity. But here are the current candidates that we have, and yesterday at 4:30, the portal closed, so we aren't accepting any more applications. One of our applicants, her name is Katrina Griffin. We have a Mr. Greg Brown. We have a Ms. Charlotte Hayes. And we have a Mr. Jeff Ryder. And our last candidate is Ms. Alicia Bowman. So we will conduct interviews with them shortly, and we'll have a decision before, hopefully before September, but definitely before the next school board meeting, and they should be joining us in our September school board meeting. Did you guys want to speak on that at all? You good to go?
What was the time?
We don't know the time of the interviews yet. I know that that will be getting scheduled between today and Friday.
Absolutely. As soon as Ms. Whitlow return, she'll be sending that information out after she coordinates everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. I also look forward to welcoming Hannah Hamrick as our new student liaison. She will join us in our September board meeting.
She will be joining.
Hannah Hamrick. She will join us.
Yes,
in that
both student liaisons will be back next meeting.
Awesome. That works too. That's Cole. What's Cole's?
Mumford, Mr.
Mumford,
Mumford,
yes.
Cole Mumford.
Drawing a blank. The school board participated in a retreat about a week ago. We sat down and Dr. Coleman and his administrative team walked us through some high-level aspects of where Isle of Wight Schools is headed, as well as our role in planning for the future. And we spent about 4 or 5 hours here, and I would say that was a very productive day. We learned a lot about some of the things that the employees are doing that doesn't make it to the public's eyes, and we're working on, making some of that information available to the public. But, all in all, from that meeting, we're progressing in a good way. I think the school board is growing in our understanding and how we actually impact the school. And I want to thank you and your staff for that time. Thank you for setting that up and giving us an opportunity to engage with you guys in that way.
You're welcome.
All right, without anything else, without further ado, is there anyone else that wants to make any comments before I close this thing out? All right, I hope you had a good first meeting, Ms. Bradshaw. You're part of the crew now. All right, you guys have a good night.